Okay, it's time to talk about Ariana Grande. If this draws in new people to my channel, welcome to my channel. I just talk about things that I want to talk about, or I feel like maybe conversations that I don't find on the internet or like I don't hear, but then I think about and I ruminate on and I freaking make do journal entries on. Okay, so Ariana Grande, my freaking girl Ariana Grande. I became a fan of Ariana Grande during Dangerous Woman. No, yours truly, people are freaking quaking. And I have been a casual fan, but consistent. I mean, she is in my Spotify #1 artist every single year. One of her songs is definitely always the #1, the top 5. But like, these are my only 2 REM beauty products. I don't have like any merch. I have a fragrance, but I am by no means like a super fan, but like I know the lore, I've watched all the videos, and when having a conversation about her and like the way that many people are having a conversation about her whole career, but you know, really heightened right now as like she's like, I don't think she's ever been bigger than she is now. I don't know like what metric we're basing that on, but really when we talk about Ariana Grande, we're talking about 2 different things. We're talking about Ariana Grande as the public figure, the persona, the, you know, superstar, but also the human being. And those 2 people are the same, but also very separate. And I, you know, want to give like the parasocial disclaimer about like, if you are a fan of anyone, you do have a bit of a parasocial relationship with them. I mean, like, she's my like, if I got to meet Ariana Grande, I would freak out. Oh, also, by the way, I was at the Eternal Sunshine concert. Insert the clips. I feel like you have to be a bit parasocial to be a fan of someone, obviously. You know, I feel like and we'll get more into this, I maintain a healthy boundary about it, and I cannot say that that's the case for everyone that's a fan of her. Okay, and getting started, we have to mention the elephant in the room, which is the ED allegations. Maybe not even allegations is the best word, but the ED conversation that revolves around Ariana Grande. To make my stance clear on this, I'll just answer some questions, okay? Do I think that Ariana Grande has an ED, specifically Anna? Yes. Do I think her response and her approach about the topic of her body is appropriate? No, I don't. Where her stance really lies is from a video from 2023, by the way, while she was filming Wicked. Well, that was 3 years ago. We can all agree that whatever is happening to her, things have visually changed, and her whole stance of I'm at my healthiest, whatever, has never been more in question than now. I don't think that that's insane to say. Am I a concerned fan? Yes, of course. Do I think that the way that people are talking about it and the intensity in which people are talking about this issue is good or helpful or putting someone in the right direction? No, hell no. And I think that this is where the nuance lies in this conversation, which shockingly, in 2026, like, no one has the ability to talk with nuance or form an opinion without, you know, this understanding of what we're actually talking about here. Or feeling concerned about someone's well-being is talking about the human being that we're seeing. I wouldn't even like say what percentage of the conversation around this is actually concerned with it, because you don't know. Like, I feel like so much of the discourse online, is it even real people? Is it even people with like fully functioning frontal lobes? Like, is it just children? You know, like, I don't really know. But I know I can speak for myself and say that as far as the human being aspect of this, like, I'm concerned and I love her. I don't want anything bad to, I want her life to be sunshine and rainbows all the time, you know, like, and we'll get into kind of her perspective on this like duality of her existence between human being and public figure. It is irresponsible to be a public figure and kind of let this go the way that it's going. I don't think it's being handled correctly from a, like, I guess a PR standpoint or like whatever, or just like as a person who is as popular as Ariana Grande, okay? But I also just want to say something in the discourse about it. I don't know if we've lost the plot on this, but like, it's not some like moral failing that someone has an eating disorder and is struggling with an eating disorder and existing with an eating disorder. I think like at the beginning of the tour, everyone was like, she should not, it's unethical to go to the tour and support someone like this. And it's like, okay, but someone being afflicted with a mental illness is not an evil thing. Like people are allowed to exist. But I understand that the reason that people feel this way, or it's a valid point when talking about this, is that Anna is specifically a social disease, or not primarily social. I don't know. I'm not a freaking psychologist, but I know that a big component of eating disorders is the social element. It is the body checking. It is the kind of like shaming. There's undisputable evidence of her being involved with Edie Tumblr that, you know, in her formative years, and it's no shock. This is a crutch in her life, okay? People have lifelong issues throughout their whole life. This is one of them. But it's not like some type of moral failing on her part that she has an eating disorder. What I do agree with is that, you know, because this is such a socialized disorder and spreads via person to person, either consciously like promoting it or subconsciously, I understand the outrage about it and this should not be allowed, this blah, 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 blah. So, you know, and that's when we're talking about like public figure Ari. Okay, but personal Ari, it's not a personal failing of someone to have a mental illness and to be suffering from it and to be struggling with it and maybe even getting worse. Okay, it's not someone's fault. It's not like some like she's a terrible person. And obviously like a real fan and a person that is like a real person would know that. The tastelessness and the like vulgarity of the way that people talk about it, it's like, did you forget that like this is just like someone suffering from something? Like as a person, as a human being, I recognize that as a public figure, you do have a responsibility to be clear, I guess, or to say something. And that's a really hard position to be in. I would not know what to do if I was her. Dealing with the day-to-day struggles or, you know, repercussions of my mental illness, and then feeling like you have a moral responsibility to do something like globally about it, or like say, you know, it's a really terrible position to be in. I like don't envy that at all. Like everyone has a cross to bear in life, and you get to be an international pop star and have like all this fame and riches and whatever, and your Achilles heel is your relationship with eating or your relationships romantically, which like is no question, and honestly not even like that. I don't think it's like that even that interesting to talk about truthfully. But what I will say is that it is terrible timing to be an international pop star with an eating disorder, alleged, in a time where women are being forced to be smaller, like less vocal, I guess ironic because she's a vocalist, but more childlike, less agency over themselves, making themselves smaller and more easy to manage. That is terrible timing in our like socio-political like sphere right now. And that's why I feel like if this was happening during like the BBL 2016 era or whatever, like this would not be like a reason to talk about her eating disorder. Now is not the time for a mental disorder to be spreading that causes women to become less strong physically, mentally, emotionally, and more easily taken advantage of and more childlike. And someone that's also, you know, in directly or indirectly hasn't said anything, but, you know, is tied to a pedophilic TV network, okay? And I'm not saying this at her. I'm just saying how inconvenient of a time for someone who is so popular to be struggling with a mental illness that does get proliferated by, like socially through people getting inspired and taking inspiration from someone that is struggling to get smaller and smaller and be more and more easily controlled by men, by organizations, by the government. Our rights are getting taken away left and right, and the most adequate response to that would be to fortify yourself the best you can and be the most educated and responsive and mentally clear to fight back. And it's just, it is really sad. A big part of her tours and stuff has been surrounding like getting people registered to vote and becoming politically active. She did a Brighter Days Foundation that is like raising money for resources for transgender people that are dealing with kind of like the repercussions of like their rights getting taken away and not being safe and etc. I'm glad that at least like she's aligning herself with something politically. And again, like I don't expect our celebrities to like be that, but I also kind of do expect them to, you know, like you kind of, if you have as much money and influence over people as like some of the like biggest like tech billionaires that are trying to freaking kill us all slowly and lie to us and say, no, it's actually really good for us. I kind of do expect that these people fight back, because we kind of got to take what we can get. Like if our celebrities are what we have, like we might as well like utilize them to protect our rights. And I don't know. And again, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to be an individual and to be struggling with something and also have to be someone to look up to do something about it. And kind of going into pedal and the whole discourse around pedal and what everything symbolizes, whatever, like that's a lifelong struggle for her, I think. And it's unfortunate, and I wish her the best. What do I know? I'm just a person, I'm not a celebrity, so like I don't know what the solution to that would be. But also kind of going back, I'm been a fan of Ariana Grande for a long time, and true fans get it. Everyone that is talking about Ariana Grande should know that like her insane trauma in her life is not talked about enough, I think, or at least not acknowledged enough. And you know, it's not an excuse. Anyone who has a full functioning frontal lobe would understand that someone going through horrific trauma in their life is not an excuse, but it's a huge contributor to the way that someone acts and carries themselves and what they struggle with and whatever. And in case you freaking forgot, let's just go through the facts, okay? Ariana Grande was on Nickelodeon during Dan Schneider, has never publicly said or confirmed anything that happened, but let's just say at the least she's seen stuff. Who knows what's actually physically happened to her? We don't know, but she's seen some stuff, okay? Has experienced a terrorist attack at her own concert and killing her own fans. I mean, she didn't kill them, obviously, but like, think of the responsibility of like all these people, the people that died showed up to see you, and they wouldn't have died if you hadn't had that concert. Think about that, okay? The mental load of that is like, I just couldn't even begin to imagine. Someone that she deeply loved and cared about passed away of a drug overdose, and the internet proceeded to blame her for it. Also, like, not that long after having the terrorist attack at your concert, okay? And the constant scrutiny, and in the Pedal music video, like, it's pretty direct that, you know, no matter what I do, everyone has something to say about it. And nothing I do is ever good enough. It's never the right thing. There's always people that tell me that you're too this, you're too that, you're too whatever. I would not be able to handle that. I think, and so therefore, like, I think that burden shows up in like all of this stuff that people have critiques of her about. The alleged ED and the issues in relationships and the drama and the boys and the whatever. People are saying, oh, you always look different. She looks totally different. She looks blah, 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 blah. If all those things happen to you, I think you'd be doing the same dang thing. I mean, that's what like Pedal is really about, the album. I'll just go ahead and say, I think it's awesome. I think it's great. I really enjoy it. My favorite songs are Oh Well, obviously Pedal, like that's a banger. Warning Signs, the interlude, that makes me like tear up thinking about it. And Bad Thing, that's a bop. I've been claiming that song since I saw it on the track list. And the thing is like Ariana Grande is so talented and has a quality about her that is so hard to pinpoint, but like it's the reason that everyone's obsessed with her. Like she has something. I don't know what it is. And it's not just the singing voice. It's not just the like beauty. Like she is like, her face card goes so crazy. It's hard to comprehend. There is something. There is some type of quality that makes people obsessed with her. In her career as a singer, as a pop star, as an actress, and also in her real life. She's got some like magic about her. I don't know what it is. And that's not even me being like an obsessive fan. I'm just saying objectively, like there is something, she has something going on that cannot be explained. And you know, it's the reason why she's like got so far, but it also is like her curse, like her downfall, and why I think, you know, just as an outsider and not as someone that knows her personally, that's like the reason why like a lot of this stuff kind of happens in her life. It's two sides of the same coin, you know? Unfortunately, I think just her personality is not super compatible for the level of fame that she has in her life. That will be her lifelong journey of like trying to rectify and bridge the gap between the real person, the human being, and the identity of her as like a public figure. And that's what Petal is about. And, you know, addressing like the fans, just nothing is ever good enough for fans. And I want to go on record and say Positions was never a flop to me. Okay, when Positions came out, I genuinely was like, okay, so best album of the year. Every single album that comes out, I'm like, so you're at your best. Cool. Oh, cool. Ariana Grande. And this is incredibly parasocial to me, but I sometimes think to myself like, dang it, man, I wish I was born in like freaking like Victorian times, or just basically I'm like, oh, my cell phone is like killing me. I wish I was born before the invention of the cell phone or before the internet, or with all of the issues like in the freaking medieval times or whatever. But then I'm like, I'm so lucky that I was born in the age of Ariana Grande, because no one does it like Ariana Grande, dude. No one does it like her. Anyways, that's Petal, you know, like it's a lot about I'm not good enough, dealing with the fact that my fans freaking hate me, and the people who are supposed to love me secretly hate me and talk mad about me all the time. Her fans just have the worst boundaries about her. I am not a Swiftie. Personally, Ariana Grande is my Taylor Swift. And I know like in the Taylor Swift fan base, like they're notorious for being like just like a bit unhinged about it. I feel like Ariana Grande fans are the same, but it is so, y'all are so dang greedy. Too many people have way too unhealthy boundaries around Ariana Grande, someone who I believe is just like not built to handle that. And it's unfortunate because someone who's not built to handle that is the exact person that can make the art that she can. That's her cross to bear in life. She's as sensitive and emotional enough to make her music, but too much to handle what fame brings her. And there's no dissecting whether that's good or bad. Like that's just the way that it is, at least in my perspective as someone from the outside looking in. I obviously do not know her personally, and I wish I did. Low key, I wish that I was her friend, but you know, I'm normal about it. Okay, I'm normal about it, I promise. And I guess that just brings me to the resolution that like this is a lifelong situation for her, dealing with, you know, her problems and trying to use art to convey them to the public, to kind of bring some catharsis for herself. Unfortunately, the resolution will not come unless she quits being a public figure altogether, or she gets incredibly direct about it and makes some type of stance that is kind of unquestionable, or you know, something that can't be construed any other way. And that I'm not asking for it. I don't expect that from someone. That's, I feel like, what it would take, in my opinion. But you know, I will be a supporter. I don't think that that's gonna change ultimately. Oh, I didn't even do my lips. I'll use my REM. Any, you know, reasonable, non-crazy person should just be like, yeah, I think she's incredibly talented. I bet she is a nice person, but she's also a human being that makes mistakes and has flaws and has issues and probably has traits that some people like and some people don't. And I wish her the best, and I hope she gets the hope she needs and she's healthy, and I would love to continue to hear her music. And I'm happy that she's gonna put out music. I'm happy when it comes. I'm sad when it doesn't, but I'm not gonna bully someone because they don't wanna make art that continuously gets turned back and hurts them because people freaking feel like they're entitled to something from her. Like, I'm just like happy to get what I get and I don't throw a fit, okay? I'm happy to get Petal, and it will transform itself and it will become super meaningful to me at some point, because that's what art is supposed to do. It's supposed to like make an impact and then transform within the person into meaning. And just because it doesn't mean something to you right now doesn't mean that it's not going to mean something to you later. Or you can allow something to mean something to you, or you can repress that, and that's fine. That's your own journey, that's your own thing. But that's the thing about art, is you like let it flutter away into the wind and things happen to it that maybe you can't control. And I hope that what I think is true is that like sometimes she can't handle it, and that's fine. I hope her lifelong journey would be to get to the point where she can, and that would be awesome. But if she can't, no, it's fine. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, and I'm happy to be able to be alive and get to hear Ariana Grande's music. That's really it. That's all I gotta say. So yeah, goodbye.